Welcome back to the neighborhood. I'm Dylan, and today I'm going to be talking about a game called Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is an online, asymmetric, multiplayer survival horror game developed by Canadian studio Behavior Interactive. It is a 1 versus 4 game in which one player takes on the role of a killer and the other 4 play as survivors. The killer must impale each survivor on sacrificial hooks to appease a malevolent force known as the Entity, while the survivors have to avoid being caught and power up the exit gates by working together to fix 5 generators. I've personally had a ton of fun with this game, so I wanted to talk about some of the reasons I think this game is worth your time to check out. To me, at its core, Dead by Daylight is just a gruesome version of freeze tag. You've got the killer, who is it, and must tag the survivors with their weapon a couple of times. Once they've done that, they can take the survivor to a hook and leave them there, or freeze them. The rest of the survivors can then attempt to unhook or unfreeze that survivor. Now obviously, there are a few extra rules and tweaks to the basic game of freeze tag, like the survivors having to repair generators and escape, and the killer's special powers. But to me, at its core, it boils down to that simple tag gameplay, which is easy to understand, and the added layers give a lot of room to master it. Both experiences bring something different to the table. I'm personally a fan of asymmetric games, where each side has different objectives and gameplay. I loved Evolve back in the day, and games like Evil Dead and the Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre games also pit a team of survivors against a villain in interesting ways beyond just that of an attacker or defender formula that you see in games like Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch. The killer is in first person, and each one has unique powers. But the killer is also trying to manage protecting 7 different generators from 4 different survivors, with each decision that the killer makes allowing the survivors to draw closer to escape. The survivors, on the other hand, are in third person, and trying to keep out of sight of the killer while repairing generators via QuickTime events. If they do get spotted, they hope that they can lead the killer on as long a chase as possible, as each moment spent chasing them is a moment their teammates can be working safely to open the doors. Both experiences are a lot of fun, and they're different, allowing you to choose what you're in the mood for. It can be tough to make these types of games feel fair. For example, Evolve addressed this by having the monster start off weak and grow more powerful throughout the match. This could lead to blowouts from either side, depending on when the fights occurred. Evil Dead uses a sprawling map and many objectives to try and balance the game. For me, Dead by Daylight has felt the best. Most games I have played have felt pretty evenly matched. Usually the game ends with a couple of sacrificed survivors and the ones that escape being close to death. Occasionally, you'll see one side absolutely dominate, but that tends to be the exception rather than the norm. I'm sure at higher levels of play, it may not always feel that way, but as a casual enjoyer, I have been surprised with how fair the matches have been. There's so much licensed content. If you're a fan of popular horror franchises, there's a good chance that there are characters in Dead by Daylight that you'll be familiar with. They have killers and survivors from video games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Left 4 Dead. They also have characters from a ton of popular movie franchises, including Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Saw, Hellraiser, Scream, The Ring, and Alien. They've even got Nicolas Cage. I got drawn in originally by the Stranger Things content, and even though that's not available anymore, I still have a lot of fun playing the Demogorgon. Their original creations are pretty cool too, and usually inspired by horror franchises, so even if your favorite franchise isn't included yet, you can probably find something you like. The game is pretty new player friendly. In late 2022, the developers added bots into the game. This allows you to make a custom lobby with only bots so that you can experiment and learn the maps and the killers. They also have a tutorial where you can learn the ropes of being a survivor against a killer bot. I personally love this, as it provides a more relaxed environment to learn what your powers are and how to play without being thrown to the wolves in a public lobby. It also means that if you don't have a full party of 4 or 5 people, you can still do some more casual custom games with your friends. Dead by Daylight is a ton of fun. The simple premise keeps you engaged and allows for a high skill ceiling as you master it. You have options for how you want to play, and they are surprisingly balanced. There's a ton of character options, many from fan favorite franchises, and it's never been easier to get started. I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you have Game Pass, as it's currently included. What about you? Have you tried Dead by Daylight? What are your favorite things about the game? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like to let us know, and subscribing for more videos from us in the future. If you want to hear us talk more about video games, check out the Your Friendly Neighborhood Gamers podcast wherever you get your podcasts. With that, I'll leave you with a reminder to stay friendly, gamers.